Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hope everyone is having a great Thursday so far. I don't know about you where you are in your part of the world, but man, it was some beautiful weather today. I mean, we could have every day be like this. It would be really nice. I'm just getting this camera set up real quick and we will be on the way. All right. Like I said, hope everyone is having a great Thursday. And I hope that y'all are ready to talk about savings, savings. The word has lost all meaning. I'll give you a prize if you can tell me what quote that's from. Has to do with the title of the live. Anyway, if you're jumping on and you are listening to the replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay in the comments for me. Let me know where you're listening in from. And yeah, happy to have you. So we'll wait just a few more minutes, let everybody jump on in. I know I'm a little bit late tonight. I apologize. It has been a crazy day, an absolute crazy day, but you know, got to take the bad with the good and the indifferent with everything else. So, it's okay. It's all good. Let me see. While we are waiting for people to jump on, I want to do this. Let me just share. Talking. This as All right, cool. Hope everyone is ready to go. All right, so a quick recap. If you haven't checked out our the last two lives that we did, we talked about budgeting. We talked about a little bit about goal setting. We'll talk about that again this evening. And then we talked about um we did a Q&A. Um the second live we did a Q&A. So the tonight we're going to talk about saving and what that means in terms of your goals. So again, let me pull this up real quick so we can talk through it. I will pull up the slides one more time so we can talk through these we can talk through the goals. And like I was saying, when you're talking about your goals, it has to do with your budget. Um, but it also has to do with where you're wanting to go in life. So, everything kind of coexists once you get to that point where, you know, you have your landscape out and you have everything, that you're looking at, and you have everything that you're considering. And so let me share my screen real quick to pull this back up. Hey, welcome in. Welcome in. I see we have a couple new faces. Glad y'all are here. Um, if you have a specific question, put it in the chat and we will talk about it. Right now, we are talking about goals and goal setting and how that influences what you need to be saving because we hear it every day. Dave Ramsey is saying this and Grant Cardone is saying that and Robert Kiyosaki is saying something else. And it's like, holy cow, like, if I don't know if you're like me, but I'm like, I only have so much money coming in. Like, yeah, if it was up to, if I was listening to everybody, they would be saying, you need to be saving $50,000 a month. And it's like, holy crap. Like I don't make much more than that a year. or in 6 months, whatever it is. Like, but certainly not a month. So, and then I've got my mortgage and my car payment and everything, credit cards, everything else on top of that. And it's like, ah, you know? So it's like, where do I begin? Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So glad to have y'all on. And so let's chat about it. So again, the emergency fund. If we are talking about that, and again, like I had mentioned, different schools of thought. Some people say, start off with a flat $1,000 and then move up to $3,000 and then move that up to $5,000. But it's like, okay, but if your lifestyle is so much more than that, or if your income is drastically disproportionate to that, then those numbers don't mean anything. It's just like, whoop, okay, that's my going to be my savings right there. And it doesn't mean anything. So rather than just pulling a number out of thin air, let's say, okay, 6 months. Actually, let's start with 3 months. 3 months is attainable. 3 months, so 3 months of expenses. Okay. That's what we're going to do for our emergency fund. Um, let's start with that. So if you've got, you know, I'm just spitballing here, but if we use the same exact example, 2,000 for your mortgage or your rent, $2,000 times three. Right off the bat, right there, you're at $6,000. And it's like, okay, well, we've already blown that out of the water. And then not even mention your car. So if your car is $500 a month, let's just say, times three, you're looking at another 1,500. So now you're up to 7,500. Um, okay. And again, what the idea is not that we're going to make this pop out of thin air, like, and just wish it into a savings account. And okay, there it is, done. It doesn't just happen in 1 month. This is something we have to build up to. And it goes back into integrating it into our budget. But if we don't know where to begin, then we don't know what we need to get to, right? So, mortgage, car, let's say, utilities. Biggest, third biggest overhead expense as a homeowner is your utilities. So let's say, man, this could range so much. Let's say, I don't know, on high end, $500. I, I don't know. If I'm way off base, let me know. $500 times three, that's, another 1,500. And then let's say, go back to our, so we've got, oh, student loans. Student loans. Okay. That's a big one. Student loans. Shoot, what are student loans going for these days? Do I even want to know? More than the mortgage. Um, let's say, shoot, I don't, I don't know. Let's say $600. I hope that's on the high end. Y'all let me know because that's $1,800 right there. Goodness. So 3 months, you're looking at 75, 85, 9,000, 10, 10,000, 10,000, 18, 10,800. Is that right? $10,800 is your emergency fund. So that's going to cover you for 3 months of your top four expenses as a homeowner. So that's not counting, you still got plus gas, plus groceries. But again, you kind of start to get the idea of where you need to start, but we're going to add to this. and you almost want to keep this as a side budget so that you're not like, if you ever have an emergency where, let's say, the worst happens and you get in a car accident and you have to go on disability, and so you're only getting a fraction of what you're being paid, and so you have to cut down, so you have to supplement. Well, this is one of those instances. Or let's say you get laid off and suddenly you've got to take a couple of months to find a new job. This is one of those instances. But you have to remember what you're budgeting, what makes up your emergency fund, right? So what does that budget look like? Um, so that as you're going through this, you can do that. So the next one is home ownership. Um, we talked about this a little bit, but if this is your goal, um, there's certain things you have to know. And I wonder if there's a MLO on tonight, if they could give us some pointers. Maybe they would even want to jump on, maybe. I don't know. I can't see who's watching. As far as the actual names, I can just see the little number 3. Um, but if you are, put a comment in the chat. I can definitely bring you on as a guest. But if not, we could do this in the future. I would love to have somebody on as a guest to talk about this more in depth. Excuse me. So, but again, hypothetically speaking, there's certain things you have to do. So let's say 20% down payment. Yeah, 20%. I don't know if that's still relevant or not. It's been a while since I've looked into purchasing a home. But let's say 20% of, let's say, $500,000 house. 10 is 100,000. So that's $100,000 of, yeah. Okay, so if that's our starting point, we also have, that's our goal. But you don't want to just save $100,000 and then you get the keys and it's like, I figured there was one. Welcome, Kendra. Thank you so much. Okay, you can get a house as low as 3.5 down, FHA and 5 down. Boom. Thank you. I had a feeling that 20% was a little overkill. Okay. So now that's a quarter of that. So what would that be? So 5%, that's going to be what, 20,000? So that's a little bit more reasonable number. 20,000. Um, but still 20,000. I mean, that's double what our emergency fund is. So $20,000. So it's like, okay, as we're going through our budget, how do we fit that in? If we give ourselves, 6 months, 6 months of runway, how do we fit that in? Well, we do that just like, what's the old saying? The best way to eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. So we go in here. So we go in and we say, all right, um, if again, this is the screenshot, but we can put in, on each payday, or if we have to stagger it every other payday, whatever is going to help you the most without strapping you the most. That's where you want to plug it in. And you can kind of start to move things around. It's kind of like 3D chess, so to speak. So you can start moving pieces around where applicable when it comes to your goals, but you still want to stay within the timeline. So if you give yourself 6 months and it's $20,000, so 6 months, that's 10, that's like 3,000 a month, 3,300 a month, something like that. And so you start dividing it up. Okay, if I only bring in a certain amount of income, maybe we sell some stuff one month. Maybe we go out and supplement our income 1 month or a couple of months. Maybe we, you know, borrow a little bit 1 month, but you're putting those in there so you can kind of start to take those bites and you can kind of start to pick and choose and figure out, okay, if I'm working extra this month, if I'm putting in some shifts somewhere this month, if I'm selling something this month, it all adds up, right? It all adds up to that overall goal of that 20,000. But then like I said, if it's 20,000, you you can't just like, okay, you pay the 20,000 and you buy the home. Okay, well, now what? You've got your first mortgage payment coming up. Is it 30 days, 60 days, 45 days, whatever it is coming up? If there's a grace period, it may be a little further off. But the point is, you don't want to stop right at that $20,000 because that's not a true assessment of what that goal looks like, right? So, do I need to add another, if my first mortgage payment is, let's say, like we have up here, $2,000. So now we've got the first mortgage payment of $2,000. And at that point, then we're starting to write our emergency fund, right? So that's tying in. Um, so you can kind of start to see how those pieces fit together for the goal of home ownership. Um, and again, I'm sure there's other areas of that. You've got, insurance. If there's an appraisal that's not tied in with that down payment, if there's, inspection, different pieces to that, but it all has to tie in with this. So it's that 20,000 plus blah 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 blah. And again, Kendra, is a wealth of knowledge. Sam Frazier, I'll give her a shout out as well, Samantha Frazier. There's a number of really great MLOs and even real estate agents that can speak to this. But it helps them help you if you know where you're starting at, right? And where you need to get to. So that's that one. So car, let's move to the car. So at a car, so new car is kind of the same. You're going to have some kind of down payment. Again, this is going to be a little bit more dependent upon where your credit score is. But you're still going to need some kind of down payment at the very minimum, just so that you're helping yourself out. So let's say, again, I haven't bought a car in a number of years, but let's say a $50,000 car. Hopefully that's top of my top of the line. If you're putting down, $5,000 for it, let's say you have really good credit, and they're like, okay, maybe $3,000. No, where do we start with that $3,000? Do we put aside 500 a month? Do we put aside 1,000 a month? You know, starting to look at those. But again, if it's your first car, or if it's an upgraded car, a higher priced car than your current car, then do you have to get more insurance? Does it take premium gas? So you're going to have, more to consider as far as paying for gas. Different things to think about there. Refinancing, kind of along the same lines. But if you're looking at like a HELOC, or if you're looking at a line of credit through a credit union, again, piecing it out, chopping it up to where it's feasible, and you're not stretching yourself too thin, but you're under the managed expectation that, look, this is not going to happen tomorrow. Short of winning the lottery or inheriting some sum of money that, maybe a second cousin left you, or something that you weren't expecting, right? Um, this is not going to happen tomorrow. The idea is that we want to build it out with what we're bringing in so that we manage expectations in our own mind and everywhere, everybody else who is involved, whether that be an MLO, whether that be an auto dealer, whether that be a spouse or parents or, other loved ones, whomever is involved, you want to make sure that, this is month one, how much are we saving? Month two, how much are we saving? Month three, and I know this looks very basic, but when you tie it back in here, it starts to paint that picture. And let me tell you, when it starts working and you have everything fit in and it starts, you can literally, like I was saying the other night, you can literally refine it down to where you are working on a margin of like $20. It is beautiful. I mean, it just gives me chill bumps just thinking about it. But it is an amazing, amazing feat. When you're able to have everything just humming along, it's awesome. It's awesome. So let's talk about vacations. Summer's coming up. Somebody who is on, give me an example for a vacation. I'm gonna duplicate this slide while we're talking about that. I'm gonna take out some of these just so that I have a little bit more room to talk or work rather. Vacation. Anybody got a vacation coming up? We can do a real life one if you want. Um, Amanda, Amanda Gay, who is in my local BNI group, she is our travel agent. I wish she was on right now. She could definitely Disney World. Ooh, that's an expensive one. Okay, Disney World it is. All right. So when we are considering Disney World, obviously, how many people are going? Let's say Disney cruise. Okay. Oh, and you book. Hey, awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So we'll do a mix. We'll do, since we said Disney World and the cruise. I most recently went on a cruise myself, so I know a little bit more about that one. So we'll pull from both of it. So we'll go with a Disney cruise. All right. So first things first, obviously the obvious ones, the obvious attributes is number of people, amount of time. So for a cruise, that's kind of, we'll just say package. Um, drinks, Wi-Fi, excursions, excursions. So, uh, hotel the night before. All these things that we have to think about, right? So if we're saying, all right, so it's just me and my wife for right now. So we're going to do two. Let's do, give me a good, a good price range. Let's do this. Don't tell her I did this. I'm just gonna, um, give me only one. Ooh, dang gum. Uh, 3-night cruise on an inside cabin can cost around 1,000 per. Okay, 1,000 per person. That's what we'll. That's very generic, but we will go with it. So 1,000 per person. So that's $1,000 times two. I'm just writing it all out. Our teacher always said, "Show your math," right? So, drink package. Amanda's gonna kill me. She's gonna be like, "Why didn't you tell me about this?" $100 for the thing, and then um, let's say that's for a 3-day cruise. And so let's say one excursion. I'm guessing one day out, day at a private whatever, one day back. So that would be, let's say, two excursions. So they're about like what, $80 to $100 a piece. So let's say $200 total. Um, Flight to from Atlanta to, let's say, Fort Lauderdale. That's what, 150. Used to be 150. Let's say $200 round trip, I guess. $400. And then if we're being comfortable, another $200 for the night, something like that. So we're looking at 2,000 plus, so that's 25, 2,600, 27, 28, 32, 3,400. So 3,400 total. The door. It's not really out the door. So let's just say 3,600. 3,600. All right. Amanda, if I am way off, definitely let me know in the comments. If you see this on replay. All right. So 3,600, right? And let's say today is March 21st. How are we going to do this? You know, obviously we have to give ourselves time to book. And I know this is kind of one of those one-offs, but I know that they do the, buy now, pay later, but we're trying to be good. We're trying to not get ourselves in debt. We're trying to not stretch ourselves too thin either. So what do? Well, we slice it up. So if today is the 21st, let's just say we've got one more week in March. Is 1 week. April. Let's just say for whatever reason, it's the middle of June that we're going. So we want to be, our target is to pay it off. Let's say target date is June 1st. Okay. So April, let's see. I need a calendar. Sorry, 1 second. So there's 2, 3, 4 weeks in April. And in May, 4 weeks in May. We've got 8, 9, so 9 weeks. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 4. 9 times 4. So it's right at $400 a week to get to our target date. So $400 a week. And now we can start to look just like with the other one. It's like, okay, with the car payment, or car down payment rather, it's like, okay, what do we need to break this up? What do we need to contribute? Are we contributing from our income? Are we contributing from selling stuff? Are we contributing from a second job? Are we contributing from side gigs? Are we contributing from online, maybe building an online business? Are we contributing from, different things? Helping somebody out, maybe a referral fee, something along those lines. The goals, the opportunities are endless. And that's one of the big things that I wanted to get across is there's so many different ways to make additional income if you need it. If not, if it's $400 and you're like, oh, I got this. Okay. So over here, or right here rather, we'll plug it in. So we'll plug in, on whatever date we're wanting to commit to, saying, all right, $400, $400, $400, $400. And we have that top of mind because guess what? We're touching this budget at minimum, 3, 4, maybe 5 times a week, every other day, something like that, every third day. We're touching it. We're at least looking at it. We've got eyes on it because this is our roadmap. This is our blueprint. Okay. Um, so yeah, I mean, you can kind of start to get the idea here. Now, does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any feedback? Any thoughts? Concerns? Maybe criticisms? I'm here for it. All aboard. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to share when it comes to staying in line with your goals while you're learning to save. Because again, life happens, distractions happen. Um, you know, sales on Amazon happen. Summer, spring break. Spring break would have been a great one to add in there, especially for college age kids, or high school seniors who are wanting to go on their senior trip. This would have been a great one. Um, and and it's never too early. I guess that brings up a good point. It's just because it's like, oh well, I missed it for this year. Okay, well if you maybe not senior trip, but goals for next year. It's like going off to college. If you have something that is happening this fall, okay, it's never too early to start. In fact, it makes it easier to start. Looking down the road and being proactive about your spending or about your savings rather is so much easier and so much less stress inducing than having to start off on the back foot. You're just setting yourself up for failure if you're setting a goal and you're saying, well, dang, I really should have started last week. Well, oh well, there's my excuse. I guess I can't start now. No, no. It takes a little bit more to get the engine running. But once you start doing that, and if you stay disciplined, you can do that. But what I'm saying is if you start now, knowing that rather than saying, okay, well, if I want to save up a certain amount by the time I go off to college, well, I can start in June. That gives me 4 weeks. That should be good. No, start now. Why wouldn't you? Because it just makes it that much easier. Instead of having to put back $400 a week, or whatever it is, let's say it's $400 a week. Instead of having to do that, put back $100 a week. You have 4 times the amount of time. So it's like, okay, just make it easier on yourself. Or if you want to grow a bigger goal, then put back the $400 a week. But it's all about that driver of what do you want to accomplish? What do you want the end goal to be? And that's what's going to drive that monetary number that's attached to it, not the other way around. I, you know, it it drives me crazy. You hear people say, "I'm going to save $10,000 this year." Okay, why? What for? What? I mean, just so that you can have a stack of bills, a stack of dollar bills on your desk. Like, you're not going to get anywhere with that. You have to have a goal in mind, and that goal has to just about keep you up at night. If you are not satisfying the increments for that goal and it doesn't drive you batty, it's not a big enough goal. It doesn't tug at the heartstrings enough. It needs to be something that is gut wrenching, that you just absolutely have to live with, that you cannot, you know, let a day pass that you're thinking about it, that you're contributing to it, that you're getting your progress going towards it, right? So I hope this was helpful. I really appreciate y'all jumping on, starting to see the numbers go up a little bit. I really appreciate y'all jumping on. Like I said, if y'all are watching replay, definitely let me know. Let me know where you're chiming in from. I saw the numbers tick up a little bit. I don't want to jump off just yet. I want to give y'all an opportunity to ask some questions. Again, quick recap: we're talking about emergency funds, building that over time, building up, towards your goals of home ownership, whether it be that or a new car, upgrading a car, refinancing your kid's college fund, maybe a vacation, rental home, whatever it could be, whatever it could be. Um, it's never too early to start, and you know we can always. It makes it easier the earlier that you do start. Um, so I'll show you this real quick. So we are now at, let's see. Um, I hope y'all are enjoying this. I hope y'all are getting some good information out of this, because this is my passion. This is what I love to do. You know, we have a program that teaches all of this, and so much more. Don't think I'm giving everything away for free. There is so much more behind, but I don't want to feel like I'm just boom, 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 just shoving all of that down your throats and saying bye, 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 bye. I want y'all to get so much value, um, that jumping on board with me, um, you're going to be rest assured that you're going to get everything else that you need and so much more. So tonight was all about saving, with our down payments, whilst focusing on our goals, all of that good stuff, so we can officially cross this off of our list. And I'm still just undecided on whether or not I want to do a Q&A tomorrow night. Y'all let me know. Let me know in the replay, or in the comments if you're watching it on replay. Would it be of benefit to do one tomorrow night as a Q&A, as an open session, just, you know, opening up the floor, Q&A. You let me know. I'll leave it up to you. Otherwise, I have something really, really special for y'all. Saturday, um, I I want to say maybe late morning, around lunchtime, maybe somewhere between 11 and 12 ish. Um, Let me know. Saturday morning, late morning. Again, you don't have to be glued to your computer. If you can watch it on your phone, if you can watch it while you're out, watch it with your kids. This will be a really good one to watch with your kids. We're going to be talking about debt. We're going to be talking about types of debt, good debt, bad debt, paying off bad debt, utilizing good debt. It's going to be a really powerful session. And I have so much. I might even go past an hour on Saturday. I don't want that to scare you, because there's going to be a lot that I'm able to provide you. Um, but we are going to have a lot of fun with it. Saturday morning, um, it's going to be a lot of fun. So tell all of your friends, your family, your coworkers. For those professionals who are watching this, let your clients know, uh, if it would help them out, if they're trying to pay off debt, if they are trying to pay off, uh, especially if they have negative items on their credit that has been attributed to from having debt. This is going to be a big one. It's going to be a really big one. So until then, I appreciate y'all jumping on, and feel free to continue asking questions in the chat on the posts. But until then, I hope y'all have a great evening. I'll talk to y'all soon.